This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, all you crypto boomers, it is Bud and George and Paul back at you this week after just a wild week of some crypto movement. If you've been watching this market, you have got to be excited, especially if you're in it. And if you're hoping to get into it, just be patient, just be patient. We're going to talk a little bit about it here in a minute and get Bud on here with some charts and share that. But before we do, if you would just click subscribe and also the bell for notifications, and also share these videos for us. That would help us out a whole bunch. So other than that, let's just dive right into it, not waste anybody's time. How you guys doing? How'd you guys enjoying this past several days?
Oh, heck yeah. It has been a wild, it feels like 2017's ramping up again. It feels good.
It sure does. It sure does. You know, a lot of people in this group that'll listen to this did not go through the last bear market, where starting in 2018 and going through the middle of 2020 or so. And now we're in that bull market, the early stages of the bull market, and it is exciting. You know, last week we did the video on creating wealth, the power to create wealth. We're not just investing, we're creating wealth. And we had so many views on that right off the bat, and I got several people reaching out to me that did not know much about cryptos at all and are just blown away at the possibilities of creating wealth. And so you know, Bud, you and I've talked about that in the past. Just the wealth that you can create in this space gives you so many options. And as a lot of baby boomers and people in our age group, you know, we need that. We need options. I'm going to read something real quick I read this morning, and this is one of the reasons why we need to stay ahead of the game. But just to give a perspective, you know, we have national deficits here in the States in the trillions, you know, anywhere from 20 to, if you count unfunded liabilities, 150 trillion, somewhere in there, maybe even more. But I put that in perspective. A million seconds is 11 and a half days. A billion seconds is 31 and a half years, roughly. A trillion seconds, anybody want to guess at what a trillion seconds is? It is 31,688 years. 1 trillion seconds. So that puts into perspective. It just blew me away. You know, I've heard the national debt in the trillions, and they're printing money in the trillions, and all this kind of stuff. And then you do that, and then I just went ahead and took it one step further. One of the richest families in the world is estimated to have in the quintillions, multiple quintillions, and 1 quintillion in seconds is 31.7 billion years. It's impossible to wrap your head around that kind of stuff, isn't it?
Those are huge numbers. And, you know, and go ahead, Bud.
Oh, I was going to say, Paul, I got some numbers for you if you fancy. I was walking with my 2 boys last night, and I said, boys, I'm going to give you a number to imagine, right? So Bitcoin is valuable because of its cryptography, and it does these calculations. And the calculation it does is you can imagine the length of the number by imagining every grain of sand on the planet, right? And they said, oh, Bud, that's a big number, you know, Dad, that's a big number. And I said, well, it goes bigger, because imagine each of those grains of sand has its own world with the same amount of sand on it. And they just couldn't believe it. And that's the number that Bitcoin calculates for its cryptography.
Is that not incredible? I didn't even know that. I knew it was a big number, but I did not even know that. That's crazy. Wrap your head around that one, folks. I mean, really, wrap your head around that one. And the other,
yeah, and then eventually, Paul, we get to a bigger number, which is the size of Crypto J's portfolio, right?
Yeah, that's right. And an even bigger number
And so that,
in a few months.
Exactly. Well, and speaking in numbers, because everybody has their own comfort level of a number. And I know my comfort level has increased as time has progressed. And I got a message from someone in the group, and they said, wow, George, I just broke X amount, it's hundreds of thousands. And I feel a little shaky, brother. And so it's interesting where we've wanted to go for so long, for these, long bear years. And we're getting into just, upper levels of of hundreds of thousands, and people are feeling uncomfortable because they're getting exactly what they've wished for. And so I find that very interesting, coming back to the psychology of trading, and how, careful what you wish for, you just might get it. And when you get those big numbers that you feel are big, and feeling uncomfortable around those. So, just everybody out there, look at what you have right now and just imagine, with what Jay has been, showing us and giving the numbers of what it can turn into, and make sure you feel comfortable with those numbers. Because if you don't feel comfortable, just, my view is you're going to do a self-sabotage, and you're not going to reach those numbers because you feel uncomfortable. It's just the psychology of human.
That's right.
So be careful, people, and plan ahead, and make sure you feel comfortable with those big numbers.
And I don't think we can overstate the fact that Jay, back in 2017, his first session was on the psychology of trading, and it had nothing to do with trading.
Yeah.
The psychology, and I had no idea. I really, I knew that trading was a I'm trying to think of a nicer word, but I was going to say a mind screw. But trading will mess with your head if you are not prepared.
Oh, God, yes.
If you're not prepared for the ups and the downs. And I'm almost glad, and I wouldn't have said this at the beginning of it, but I'm glad that we went through a bear market, just to have the opportunity to get all the training. Now that Jay, I mean, the nice thing is if someone does go on and wants to get that training, they can get it all, at the same time. We waited for those modules and for that training over a period of time, and now they're all available in a library, which is phenomenal. But I'm glad that we were able to have some time to allow Jay to do his teachings, in order to prepare us for what's coming, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it does make sense, Paul. And Paul, I was going to say, it's nice to be taught by George and Jay, and both have got the proof in the pudding. Basically, they've done what they say they've done, and it's just been great to get that training from experts that have actually got the reward.
yes.
So.
And you just shook something loose in my head. I just talked to George offline here a minute ago, and I'm going to book a session with him, because what he provides is the kind of the safety blanket where we can feel comfortable with what we have, being our own bank, and the security behind it. Because I, as secure as I make everything and am careful with it, I still want George, who's an expert in that, to go over everything with me, and he's kind enough to offer up his expertise. So I'm excited to do that in the next week or two, so that I can have just a little bit, another layer of peace of mind, if you know what I mean. So to get going on, I want to just make you a presenter, Bud, so that you can kind of share with us some of your charting and what you're looking at. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go into some of the charts and have a look at the beautiful moves we're seeing in crypto.
Absolutely. And you are now the presenter.
Yeah, so let's have a look. This is one I've been looking at today. And this is some analysis I've actually done based on, we were talking about 2017, guys, and we all experienced that. It was a wonderful ride. and it does feel like those days are coming back. If you can see the screen, you can see the Bitcoin. That's a Bitcoin chart, right? You can see that?
Yep, we can see it.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah. So what I was doing is Bitcoin seems to lead the market, and it's very clear on that because in 2017 you had the Bitcoin run up. It was very similar, and then a load of the altcoins. These are the coins that are alternative to Bitcoin. Basically, everything that's not Bitcoin. They ran almost at the end of the Bitcoin run as well. And so this analysis here, again, I like to look at this because this is where I expect, or possibly look to Bitcoin reaching some kind of high and capping out, as we would say. And what I've done is based on the 2017 capping out price of Bitcoin, which was close to 20,000. Now we're reaching up to the 50s. Once it caps out, then this is when all these other altcoins start to cap out as well. They have really, really quick bursts up, huge runs, and then they start to cap out. So there is a strategy that you take a portion of some of the money that you have in Bitcoin, and then you start to layer it into these earlier coins like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin and Bitcoin Gold. And then when they start to cap out, after here I've had it as 3 days, you then switch into things like Komodo with just, again, this is just like play money, a very small portion of your trading money. But you could go and flip-flop between these coins and eventually end up with these longer time coins. Looks like Digibyte, EOS, Ethereum Classic. And after that, then once Ethereum reaches its cap, then you come out completely. I just thought it was an interesting strategy. Have you guys been looking at that?
Yeah, I have. I actually have been looking at that. And what we do is we don't, obviously Jay doesn't give investment advice, but we are able to learn his trading style and learn from him. He is kind enough to let us know what he's doing, and if we want to follow it, we follow it. And obviously, we don't give any trading advice here on this channel either. We're certainly not qualified for that. But to Bud's point, this is kind of one of the strategies after reviewing this market over the past few years, and just taking that analysis and seeing what the probabilities are. And this is kind of what we're looking to do, right, Bud?
Yeah, this is almost like, it reminds me of the transfer of wealth. So we're in the crypto market. And why are we in the crypto market? Because we believe that there is ongoing a transfer of wealth. There are two parallel systems running almost separate from each other. You have the mainstream financial system that we've all grown up with, that I would say 99% of people have really no comprehension of how it works. You just trust it, it works. And then you have this parallel system being built, which is the cryptocurrency market led by Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is basically the mother to all these other alternative projects that are coming out as well. And so you have this transfer between financial systems, so going from fiat currency into crypto and then back and forth and back and forth. And then not only that, but you've got this transfer of wealth between the Bitcoin community and then them transferring it to the alternative cryptos and then back again to Bitcoin, and this sort of to and fro. So there's a lot of transfers of wealth going on.
One of the things you just said there was as far as the current financial system and how we just blindly trust that system. But one of the things with crypto is it's called a trustless system, right, George?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's an open ledger. You can see whatever.
Yeah. So just real quick for the new people, it kind of explain why that's important and what that does for us as far as the security aspects of it.
Oh, yeah, you want me to take that?
Yeah, sure. Yes, you're the
Okay,
expert.
sorry. Yeah, well, when the current government of the U.S. can go out and pass legislation and print as much currency as they want, that doesn't give some stability to what we hold in the bank. And that is not true for the crypto side of things. You know how many Bitcoin are going to be created or mined, and they're not going to create any more. In fact, there are, and I don't know where the estimates are, but there are plenty of Bitcoin that have been lost in the process. And I know there have been plenty of other altcoins that have been lost in the process because people have lost their keys, they've lost other things, and it's never coming back into the market. So we understand what the limitations are and what, how many coins are going to be produced on the different blockchains. Where we can't say that's true external in our current financial system that, I know over in Europe, they're printing, in the US, they're printing worldwide. And with the different blockchains that are out there, Bitcoin, Litecoin, all the different chains, you can see the proof of what coin has been transferred from here to there. It's very transparent. We can't see that in our current financial system. I really don't know how much they've printed. They're telling us it's X amount, but there's no transparency. At the Federal Reserve, you can't go in and audit it. It hasn't been audited since what, the 50s? Right. And certainly there's rumors that there's really no gold left in Fort Knox. That hasn't been audited. But you can go through and you can audit any of the blockchains to see how many coins are in circulation and what coins have moved and what coins haven't moved. And what coins have been locked up for 10 years and may never move. So the crypto side of things, blockchain is very transparent, and you can look and you can do the research and see for yourself instead of relying on someone else that potentially could be telling you the truth or not, because you can't look at the data itself.
Yeah, and all the governments of the world have what's called fiat money or fiat currency. And if you look up the definition of fiat or fiat money, it's simply a government issued currency that isn't backed by anything. It can be created out of thin air.
Yeah.
So, to your point where we wonder why, prices of certain things go through the roof, when you have more dollars chasing the same or fewer products, I mean, it's just a normal economic principle that the price goes up and the dollars become less valuable. So the thing with Bitcoin, and to your point there, is that there's only going to be 21 million of them mined. And right now we're at 18 million. And out of that 18 million, there could only be 13 to 15 million in circulation because the rest of them have been lost. So, the fewer the number of coins, or the fewer the number of an asset, the more valuable it should be, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct.
As far as I'm concerned.
But Paul, I was going to jump in there and say, isn't it interesting that what Bitcoin does that I don't think people appreciate, and this is great for the crypto boomers as well as everyone, is it gives you a real financial understanding that we are lacking. It's almost like by design that whoever is in control of knowledge, they've wiped out the knowledge of money. I mean, we go through our lives and we have lots of financial training but nothing about where is money, how is it formed, who creates it, who's in charge of it, how does it circulate. It's just we trust the numbers on our bank, and what Bitcoin does is it gives you the opportunity to start really digging in and learning things that we've just never had the opportunity to in our lifetime.
Yeah, that is incredibly true. Incredibly true. And the cool thing I like about Bitcoin is, or cryptos, is, you literally can buy a hardware wallet, say a Trezor or Ledger, get your public keys or public keys, and I could do that, give it to George, and George could send me Ethereum or Bitcoin with absolutely no middleman. There is nobody in between that transaction.
Yeah, yeah, and you're not paying a ton to the check cashing companies. Like I can't believe how much they charge. Like it's a 15% fee to cash a check or to wire money down, here in the States. Wiring money down to south of the border here is really horribly expensive. It's almost worse than Ethereum fees right now. And just to go back a little bit, the last Bitcoin that's going to be mined isn't till 2040, or sorry, 2140. So we have a long way for Bitcoin to be mined. I mean, I probably will not be around when the last Bitcoin is mined. So the stability that we have on that blockchain is pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time, even though we've been in this space a while, every time even I have a conversation with you guys, it just makes me more excited about being in this space. And the one thing, and I think we touched on this last week with Jay, the one thing that people need to realize is they'll look at Bitcoin and go, okay, it's up to $48,000 this week, all-time high. I'm too late. Listen, there are people that think Bitcoin will reach 100,000, 500,000, a million. Nobody knows, but this is still in its infancy. We do not have mass adoption yet. And when that happens, that's when the absolute bombs go off. The excitement goes, through the roof.
Yeah.
So Paul, I'm looking at this chart here. I was just going to jump in there. So looking at this chart here, and we're looking at the Bitcoin Cash chart, and it's gone down a lot. And I guess we've had the debate about which is the real Bitcoin. George, do you think that debate now is kind of won? We know what the real Bitcoin is.
Well, yes. And
I mean,
but things can turn on a dime because there are so it's hard to believe some of the numbers. Just looking at this, I mean, and to be honest, I've probably picked up a little bit of BCH lately, but that when you look at some of the numbers that Jay comes out with, and like BCH trails everything as compared to it's not a first run, it's toward the end. And it's going to be amazing to see some of these coins where they are down right now and where they're going to end up toward the end of this bull run. That I still am not going to believe what has happened and what transpired.
Right.
Yeah, we mustn't underestimate our trading, because I was thinking Bitcoin Cash is one of my biggest holdings, and we've been very comfortable buying all the way down here because we know there's something big coming. But it does look like it's been beaten up by the Bitcoin guys a little bit, doesn't it? Almost like, hey, stay down until we're ready for you.
Right.
Exactly. And you know what I envision when BCH kind of makes its move? Do you remember the Tom Cruise where he's jumping on the sofa in front of Oprah, where he's just so excited? That's sometimes when I look at these numbers like ADA lately, like some of these moves that we're just now seeing, that's what I envision myself, like so happy I'm going to be crazy enough to jump on a couch in front of the entire world. So,
Okay, so guys, let's start to wrap it up. If I told you that you had to pick one coin today to put money into, you're a newbie. I'm not saying that we're recommending anything. This is you, okay? This is just you. If I said, Bud, you need to pick one coin that you want, that you really think you could put some money into, what's Bud gonna do?
So Paul, it's interesting. You're picking a day where I've actually had to look through my portfolio and choose a coin that I've had to put money in. And what I've based my decision on is one that hasn't actually moved a lot compared to its potential. And that's Hedera Hashgraph. And Hedera Hashgraph is below the ICO price of 12 cents. So that would be my choice. That's basically what I put my money in today. HBAR, Hedera Hashgraph.
Okay. Same for you, George. If you had to put money into one coin today, what do you think George would do?
I'm going to give you two answers. I'm not going to chicken out, but I would, I had a friend call and say, hey, you've been in this forever. What would you get into? And if it was someone who's just starting, I would say I like BCH because it's part of the big ones. It will stand the test of time, and you don't have to worry about really the fluctuations, and it's known out there. So if someone was asking me who was just starting, I'd say BCH. I personally, I am still in love with Theta and in love with Theta Fuel, because I don't think Theta Fuel has seen its run yet. And we will have D on the show, and he'll tell you why he's just really excited about where that project is going.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I'm saying if you came to me and said, hey, Paul, you've got some play money, you've already got some money invested in the space, I think T Fuel is for me, that coin. If I don't have any money in the space and I want to get some money in the space, I'm a little bit older and I just need to put it somewhere safe, that changes that answer. And I probably would be in the Bitcoin Cash range, maybe even Litecoin. I know Litecoin's had a little bit of a run up, but I still think it's suppressed. So, and those two are top projects and fairly safe. So that's probably where my head would be for Paul. So you guys do your own research, look at the charts, get a trading view account. You can go on there and get charts for free and look at those, and look at Crypto Compare and coinmarketcap.com. Just check all those out and see if there's anything there that you guys like. But I would definitely, if you want an education in this space, you want an education on creating wealth, you want an education on how to swing trade, certainly you're going to want to click the link that'll be at the bottom of this video, and it'll send you over to Bitcoin Academy. And Trader Jay, who was on last week, who will be on, he'll be a regular on here. He's very kind with his time, and just go there and learn this space, because we're not investing. We're not just trying to invest in one project and make a little bit of money. We're creating wealth here. We're creating wealth. Let that sink in. We're creating wealth. So any last words, guys?
I'm all tapped out.
Yeah. How about this? Don't buy Bitcoin until it retraces a little bit.
Yeah.
I like that one, bud. Yeah.
Now, if you just FOMO'd in and you bought Bitcoin, just chill out. We do think that it's going to hit a plateau here in a little bit and then pull back and then go on up and make another all-time high. That's what we're seeing. That's what we believe. But if you were wanting to buy Bitcoin, if it was me and Bud and George and the training that we've had from Jay, we would wait. So anyway, with that, guys, don't ever forget, like we always say, it's not just investing, it's creating wealth. And don't forget to tap that subscribe button, share the video, and click that bell so that you get notifications whenever we put out a new video. And with that, we'll talk to you next time.